Hey everybody, it's Kay. I hope that you are doing well today during these quarantine times. It's a beautiful day here in South Carolina, but it's about 100 degrees. So I'm in the house recording videos for you because, woo, it is hot out there. So this tag is the best books you've never heard of tag. It was created by Dankia Ellis, and I was tagged by Kazen of Always Doing. And I will put a link to both of their channels below, as well as the questions for this tag. Now, Danica does an excellent job on her channel explaining how the tag works. I will make an attempt, though, right now. So if you're on Goodreads, you'll pull up your Goodreads account. You will pull up your read list, and you will sort your books by number of ratings and ascending order, so that your least rated books appear at the very top of your list. So that's ratings, not rankings, okay? So you need to do that in order to answer these questions. I hope I explained it well. If I didn't, Danica's explanation is very good. She does it with pictures and everything in her video, okay? So the first question is, are there many books that you've read that are below 250 ratings, below 100 ratings, under 25? So I just took the top number, 250. I read 32 books that have less than 250 ratings on Goodreads. How did you hear about the most obscure books you read? I believe 4 sources: BookTube, Book Club, going to book sales, and Black Expressions mail order book club from back in the day. What are some of your favorite unknown books that you've read, and why should more people read them? Well, I have a few books here stacked up that I'm going to show you, and they're a good mix of urban fiction, nonfiction, contemporary fiction, thriller type books. I think there's a mix of something for everybody, maybe. So let me start with three books that my book club read. The first one is on my Kindle, and I don't have a physical copy of it here, but it is The Unkind Hours by Dwayne Alexander Smith, and I don't know why it only has 175 ratings on Goodreads, because the book is so good. It is a thriller. It is about a young couple whose daughter goes missing, and the father can't rest until he finds out what happens to his daughter, and a stranger contacts him with information. Y'all got to read that book. I really thought that with the success of 40 Acres that a lot of people would have also read this book, but y'all read that book and rate it. My book club is going to discuss it this month, so I'm really excited about our discussion. I look forward to it. The next book is an urban fiction book. In my book club, they don't want to read urban fiction anymore. I like urban fiction because I like mess. This book is Till It's Gone by Dwayne S. Joseph. This book had, 31 ratings on Goodreads. It's about a couple, Stephen and Danita. They're okay, they're making it, but then she finds something out. And she has to decide, am I going to stay with him, or am I going to start looking at who's looking at me? So you know how that happens. But yeah, Till It's Gone, Dwayne S. Joseph. It's a short read. I like urban fiction. If you do, check that one out. The next one I really liked. I read it. I got it from Black Expressions. I read it. I told my book club about it. We read it together as a group, and I think everybody liked the book. We read it at a time we were reading a lot of books with questionable or crazy mothers, and this book is no exception. It only had 204 ratings on Goodreads, and I don't understand that. But it is Gathered Together in My Name by Tracy Price Thompson. This one is a bit of a thriller or suspenseful novel as well. So there are 3 brothers. They're triplets. One of them has been convicted of murder, and people have gathered together in his name to witness his execution. And there's a twist toward the end. And the book was just good, and it's a short one. So if you have a read along to do, you want some contemporary fiction, something a little suspenseful and different from what you normally read, check this one out and see if you like it. Okay? Next are two books by former booktubers who both sent me their book to review. And I think the reason why these books in particular may not have more ratings is because of not having that big powerhouse publishing company to really push and promote their book. I'll just tell you about them. The first one is Maxed Out, book one in the Brick Road series by Cal Lewis. And I enjoyed this book. It's about a young man named Ramses. He lives in the hood. This is urban fiction, street lit. And he just keeps being pulled back to the streets. The streets keep calling and he keeps answering. He won't leave the old ways behind, won't leave the old friends behind, but he has a pregnant girlfriend. Baby, you know, baby's on the way. He needs to do better, but he just can't do better. And at the end, it cost him and he gets in some trouble. So I don't know if Cal is working on a part 2 to this series or not, but I really want to know what happened to Ramses. But this one only has 17 ratings on Goodreads. Oh, my nose is itching. My grandma used to say when your nose is itching means somebody's coming to visit. I don't know who's coming over here in the quarantine. Brown Sugar and Spice by Mathis Bailey. I enjoyed this book. This is book 2 in his series. The first book was Confused Spice. And it's a continuation of the story of Pierre Jackson, who is a chef, a food critic, a writer. Pierre has a trifling ex-boyfriend named Dre who's in the picture, and along with him comes Dre's crazy new trifling girlfriend. And Pierre has a new roommate. Her name is Zola, who comes with a lot of trauma and drama of her own. But Pierre and Zola take a trip due to a death in Pierre's family, and there he meets London. And London's a nice fella. They have a quick friendship that develops, a quick rapport, and I'm not going to say anything more than that because I don't want to spoil it if you haven't read it. But I did enjoy this book, and I'm looking forward to the next book in the series. There's one person noticeably missing from this book from the first one, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure he'll probably pop up in the next one. At least I hope so. This book only had 11 ratings on Goodreads, but I think that's because the book just came out last year and Mathis is still heavily promoting this one. So, Brown Sugar and Spice. Ooh, my nose is itching. Ooh. Okay, it could have something to do with the fact that I just went to Lowe's and bought a bunch of flowers too, though. That could be why my nose is itching so bad. The next two books I got from Black Expressions Book Club. They are by the same author. The tone of both of these books is very dark, and they deal with some very serious subject matter. They're both very suspenseful novels as well. The first one, Pipe Dream, had 155 ratings on Goodreads. I like this book. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, neither is the next book, but I really did like them. In this one, you have Samuel Jackson, aka Black, who is a thief, and he has a crack addiction, as well as his friend Leroy and Leroy's girlfriend Pookie, and Black's on-again, off-again friend with benefits Clarice, who is a nurse. So all of them have a heavy addiction. Black ends up in a crack house where a councilman is murdered. Somebody knows that he knows something, and it becomes a cat and mouse game. And the four of them are trying to survive, but they all want to fix. It's a book about friendship and loyalty, about crime, addiction, confusing love with lust, struggling, trying to survive, redemption, if there's any. So, but it has a very dark tone to it, as I said, and that's what I really liked about this book. So yeah, the next one is The Bridge, and The Bridge had 124 ratings. This one is about a young girl who has gone missing, and Detective Kevin Lynch is back in the hood trying to figure out what happened to this young girl, but the people there some people don't want to snitch. They don't want to say anything. And it's very frustrating for him. He wants to find this little girl and find out what happened to her. And at the end, when he does, it's very heartbreaking and very sad. But yeah, I really like this book. And I like that cover too. Next is Bad by James Carr. It had 132 ratings. This one is the story of this man's life. He went to prison. A lot of awful and terrible things happened there, and yeah. Yeah, that's all I can say about that one. Fever by Geneva Holliday had 176 ratings, which surprised me because the author of this book is a fantastic writer. We all love her dearly, Bernice McFadden. She has several books under this pen name, maybe 5, maybe 7, but this is one of those girlfriend books, where the ladies are all trying to survive through troubles in relationships and raising kids and careers and all that kind of thing. It's one of those type novels, and I really did enjoy this book. And I do want to read the other books, and I don't want to say it's a series, but the other books that she wrote under this pen name. And I was really surprised that more people had not read that book. If her name was on it, they probably would, This one is nonfiction. It is Every Woman in the Bible, Sue and Larry Richards. And this book had 86 ratings. I like to use this book as a reference when I'm reading the Bible and sometimes in Sunday school, because it mentions every woman in the Bible, even those who are not mentioned by name, and just kind of gives more background on her and her story. This one is contemporary fiction. This Just In by Yolanda Joe. And it's about 5 women who work in a newsroom. You have the photographer and the new kid on the block and all of that. But they have to deal with, the news stories that are coming in. Deal with racism, sexism in the workplace. Relationships within, the co-worker relationship, I should say. And then the personal relationship amongst the 5 of them. So Yolanda Joe herself was a journalist. I don't know if she's still writing novels though. But yeah, so this Just In had 76 ratings. This one, Father Found by R.M. Johnson, is about a man who runs an organization to help homeless kids. And what he does is track down the deadbeat dads, the fathers that abandon these children. And this book had 88 ratings on Goodreads. So this is literary fiction, and this one was good too. So those are the books that, I like all of those books. And so there's a mix of everything for everyone. There's one book that I read that only had 1 rating on Goodreads. This book is Africa, The Legacy of Civilization, African Principles That Became Christian Doctrine by Ron Preston. I heard about this book through book club. He actually came to our meeting for our Black History Read one year, and we sat down and discussed the book with him. But it only has 1 rating on Goodreads, and he rated the book. Okay, so any other thoughts? Do you think the most popular books you've read are usually better than the least popular ones? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Who do you think your least read? I can't read. Why do you think your least read books are so unknown? I think some of them may have been self-published. Some of them may not have had the promotion that they needed at the time that they were released. Who knows? Do you like reading unknown books or popular books? It doesn't matter to me. A book is a book. A good book is a good book. A bad book is a bad book. There are books that get all this hype and all this promotion, and you read it and you're like, well, I wasn't that impressed. Then there are other books you're like, I haven't heard anybody talk about it, and then it turns out to be something wonderful. So it really does just depend. And then finally, who do I tag? So I'm trying not to tag the same people over and over in different tags. So I'm going to try to tag people I think would have a very interesting take on this tag. So Belinda's Book Nook, Karen Evans, Karen from Runwright Reads, Art Books Life, Denise D. Cooper, because Denise reads some books. I don't know where she finds these books. Some of these books, these authors, I have never heard of. Same thing with Young, Gifted, and Black, your tag too. Brown Girl Reading, Bookish. All of you are it, because I think all of you have a very interesting take in response to these questions. So I look forward to seeing your videos. I really hope you can do them. And if any of you want to do this tag and I didn't personally tag you, do the video. You don't have to wait to be tagged. Do it. Just make sure you credit back to Danica and link her video in your description box. So that's it for this video today. I'll see you soon in another one. Until next time, keep reading. Bye-bye.